Ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam Winch from Defenders USA. I have something I want to talk to you about real quickly. Hamas obviously started what happened in Israel, right? This last Saturday, Hamas invaded Israel, not going after military targets so much, but in kicking in doors, going into homes, slaughtering entire families, killing innocent civilians at dance parties, on the street, raping, plundering, murdering, all without mercy. To date, there's been 1,200 or so that have been killed, and I'd tell you probably a lot more as they open up more and more settlements where the invasion from Hamas happened. Understand that is their way of thinking. They're not going to go after the military because they're too cowardly to do that, but they will go after innocent civilians. And Hamas, or could we say the radical Islamists, absolutely hate anything to do that's not Muslim or Islam. And they view Israel as the little Satan. And they have vowed that they will push every Jew into the sea and kill them all, right? That they cannot have their land and they're going to destroy them. But understand, they view the U.S. as the big Satan. What has happened in Israel, as we're seeing, is Israel was forced into a war that's turning into a much wider war that could turn into World War III. I think that's actually part of the goal, is to use this to cause a World War III. Understand, too, we in the U.S., we are the big Satan. We're the ones that's truly the power behind Israel as it's viewed by them, by the enemy. And I think our enemy, which is multifaceted and rather large, needs us to be in a world war. They need us to be militarily engaged on multiple fronts. You see, China wants Taiwan and wants it desperately, and they're planning to go get it. And they know, based on the current weakness or the weakness of the current administration, this is the time to do it. Their time, the window to be able to do it, is running out quickly, and it has to happen in probably October, November, or it's got to happen in the March, April of next year. And they need us engaged somewhere else militarily so that they can take Taiwan. Ukraine, right? Russia is doing their best to take Ukraine, and our country, for some reason, is spending far too much resources and effort on Ukraine. And we're sending massive stockpiles over there in Russia to be able to get us to stop sending so much weaponry over there. Russia needs us engaged in a war. There's a whole Muslim state that would love to go to war with us, the great Satan, the power behind Israel. And they want us in there. And there's many others, right? North Korea, Iran, Venezuela. There's so many different enemies out there. They would love to see us ultimately engaged elsewhere to where they can run amok and do what they want to do. And to draw us into that war, to draw great Satan, the U.S., into that war, I would not be surprised if coming up soon, we see the sleeper cells that I think are scattered across this United States come alive and take massive attacks, just like happened recently in Israel. And if that happens here in the U.S., we're going to go to war. Absolutely going to go to war. And if we go to war, it's going to draw in others. It's going to turn into the worldwide conflict. We could just call it World War III. It's going to happen if we have massive attacks here across the U.S. And that's part of the end goal. I think Iran is set up with all sorts of terrorists in this country, and others are too. Understand, we've had a weak administration that's purposely left our borders open for the last several years, to where now we have 7+ million people that have come across our borders illegally into this country. And if you look at those, the majority of those are what the military calls MAMs, or military age males. And they're coming in here and they're scattering across this country, and they're not just coming from Mexico. They're coming from everywhere, with completely different ideology than us, with no desire to be of unified or unity with the United States of America. They're not coming here to assimilate. They're coming here to take what they can and leave, or really just stay and live off of us, but also to bring their own ideology here. And I believe we have cells scattered across this country from the terrorists who have come across this border that are ready to go activated at a moment's notice. And when that happens, we're going to have massive, simultaneous, active shooter events at large scale across this country. And if we have that, again, we are going to war. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is defender. Hey, defender, if you're trained with a gun, you have a gun, I'm going to ask you to start carrying that gun if you don't already. I would suggest you probably carry some medical supplies with you, chest seals, tourniquets, coagulating agents, bandages. I'm going to suggest you carry a spare magazine because when this active event kicks off, just like it happened this last Saturday in Israel, somebody's got to defend. Somebody's got to be armed and somebody's got to do it. And we can't rely on that poor cop. There's maybe a cop for one per 1,000, 1 per 2,000 out there. They can't be the only ones to do that. We have to do that too. We have to be a part of the defense of this nation. And I think that is coming. In fact, Hamas and others have suggested that Friday the 13th, which is tomorrow, should be the day of bloodshed across America, where they stand up and give their blood and their lives to attack the United States of America, to shoot us and gun us down and kill us in our homes the same way they just did in Israel. You see, evil is coming. It's coming to our streets, it's coming to our homes. And I think it's going to come at great scale. And if it happens the way I suspect might happen, it'll be larger on bloodshed and death toll than even 9/11. It's coming for us. Israel just had their 9/11 several times over. They're coming for us too. And I think it's purposeful. It's going to drag us into a larger war. It will diminish us, and it will kill many of our people. So therefore, the only way we can stop this or diminish it or blunt the attack that is there is be willing to fight. So therefore, if you are a defender, you carry that gun, defensive life, be prepared the next couple days as this comes up. I don't think this is just the dirt bag that's kicking in your door in the middle of the night, or the thug down at the local gas station that wants your purse or your car, or just to do bad things to you. I think we're looking at mass scale of attacks that simultaneously happen, and somebody's going to have to be the one to confront that. And when that happens, if you're the one to confront it, you got to be ready to face some overwhelming force. Yet somebody's got to fight. And in that process, if you are the one that has to respond to that, because you're the only one armed, you're the only one there, understand you could be overwhelmed. You could not make it. But that is a part of the process of knowing that when it's time to fight, you may not make it, but you must fight and make them pay severely and dearly. And hopefully you survive, and hopefully that those you are defending also survive. You see, when it happens, it'll be quick. It'll be overwhelming. And freezing or waiting for somebody else to take care of it is not going to be the way to do it. You're going to have to be the one. Defender, be ready. Defender, please be ready, because bad things are coming. Evil's on the march. It's going to try to draw us into a hot war. It's trying to draw us into a world war. We're literally on the precipice of that, I believe. So therefore, we need to be prepared for it here in our own home country. Anyways, Adam Winch, Defenders USA. Be alert. Stay vigilant. Be safe out there.